The franchise was unique in that the character was portrayed by multiple actors spanning 60 years, with each adding their own unique flavor to the role. As you know, the first James Bond was Alpha of Alphas, 1953 Mr. Universe contestant and absolute Giga Chad, Sir Thomas Sean Connery. The Scot, born on August 25, 1930, had rugged good looks and a commanding presence that immediately impressed producers Albert Broccoli and Harry Saltzman. They noted that this was especially the case when he left the table in a jungle cat-like manner. Poor Cary Grant didn't stand a chance. Initially, Ian Fleming was not on Team Connery. He thought Connery was this low-born Scot, because Fleming was a little bit snobby. However, Connery was so based and compelling that Fleming changed his mind and made Bond a Scot in his books. After filming wrap, Dr. No made an estimated $59 million on a $1 million budget worldwide. The franchise blew up, and Sir Sean Connery would reprise the role 4 more times before relinquishing the mantle of his character to ingrate Australian-born George Lazenby to star in the film on Her Majesty's Secret Service. The ex-model and car salesman wasn't a horrible choice. He had chiseled good looks and an athletic frame, even if he kept pushing for a more sensitive Bond. What a pussy, right? But on the worst advice an agent has ever given an actor in the history of cinema, Lazenby decided to tell the studio to fuck off because he was too good for Bond. As a first-time actor, he even had his voice dubbed in some of the scenes by George Baker. He just couldn't cut it in the industry. The studio was now Bondless, and the franchise had just taken off. So like the guy who got dumped by his girlfriend, then got dumped by the new one, they would go back to the first one for a one-night stand, and Connery would reprise his role in Diamonds Are Forever. It was a band-aid but not the cure, so in 1971, the studio would find a new Bond for a new decade. Connery was replaced with 45-year-old Stockholm, London native Roger Moore.
I'm Roger Moore.
He transformed 007 from Connery's rugged, macho character into a polished, self-deprecating playboy that played Bond with a lighter, almost comedic tone. Moore went on to make the next 7 out of 8 Bond films, from Live and Let Die to the critically panned A View to a Kill, that by the way I loved, and I could care less who didn't, cause this is my damn channel and I could say what I want. I say 7 out of 8 because for some reason Connery returned.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
In 1983, he wasn't the young spy that he used to be, and in Never Say Never Again, action sequences were a little bit slower paced, and the younger romantic conquest scenes were more awkward than Leonardo DiCaprio's dating pool. It was now 1987, and it was time for a reimagining of Bond. The role would go to Timothy Dalton of Hot Fuzz. He was a brooding, ruthless, emotionally scarred killer haunted by duty and moral ambiguity, which was a little bit of a throwback to the original Fleming novels. Although he was a great actor, I think he was a bit of a mismatch, and he only got 2 films before he was replaced by Pierce Brosnan. Brosnan was a polished post-Cold War 007 who blended Connery's swagger with Moore's charm. He arrived as a suave, media-savvy spy in the internet age for the film GoldenEye, coincidentally named after Fleming's Jamaican estate. He would be Bond until Die Another Day. Finally, that brings us to the Daniel Craig era. We would get the best and worst of Bond. At first, it was brilliant, dark, gritty, and more realistic. Casino Royale with cheese gave cinemagoers what they wanted, a more grounded approach to heroes. We can see this in Batman Begins, V for Vendetta, and Watchmen. Martin Campbell gave us a Jason Bourne of Bonds, and some critics hated it. They felt that this wasn't Bond, and they were right. But I enjoyed the shit out of it, mostly because I love seeing ass beatings and explosions, but also the Bond girls. Unfortunately, it wouldn't be long before they took that beautiful movie and turned it into human action. Quantum of Solace was good, but a drop in quality. Skyfall was a more grounded return to form. Spectre was forgettable, and they totally cut them in No Time to Die. His inner man bun was showing, and he was constantly pining over his lost love Vesper. What a little bitch. he was visiting her grave, and he was playing second fiddle to Lashana Lynch's black female 007. This was all to satisfy the modern audience. Because of course, there has to be a black female 007 and most likely a DEI hire who's probably one of the alphabet people.
The Me Too movement came at the right time. I mean, long overdue, and it's had a huge impact on the world, and I'm thrilled that it has done, and I think everything we do has to reflect that. So I think the film will absolutely incorporate that. Diversity and inclusion is something that I feel very strongly about. It's very important that we make films that reflect the world we live in.
Are you retarded?
So join me in a shaken martini toast, and as always, keep watching movies.